teacher. Because as class will be going on, I had to be putting this guy through. So I didn't understand why the twist. As we sat across each other at the Arabian Tea Cafe, catching up on the years that had slipped away, I couldn't help but feel a swirling mixture of emotions. Al struck me first as I took a look at his immaculate designer suit and the confident air that clung to him like a second skin. He spoke of his adventures, bold investments, creative endeavors. $1 million business, he called it. And obviously, it is paying off in abundance. Yet, alongside Al, a quiet envy began to sprout within me. Envy not born out of malice, but from an introspective comparison of our paths. While I had chosen a traditional route pursuing high education and building a career step by step, Smooth had taken risks and carved his own trajectory. The opulent hotel he frequented, the luxurious cars he owned, the extravagant lifestyle he led were not just symbols of success, but gateways into a world I had only glimpsed in the magazines. I can't wonder, I can't think am. Shey, na my eye dey pain me, abi na my guy dey flaunt money like this. Hi, omo. Money good, oh, money good. As we spoke through the evening, I tried all I could to get an idea of what my guy is into, but I couldn't. And each time I asked him, he would tell me, Chris, drink up. Pangane ba, oremi. No, you know what cut so for me, abi? After much persuasion, he told me, Oremi, you need to prove to me that you are hungry for success. Wait, which kind of hunger again, huh? This guy no say, na okpa $50 I chop today, so? Guy, if you want show me something, show me, Joe. No, they whine me. His phone rang. And when he picked the call, I wasn't paying attention at first. But in a split second, his eyes were like that of a bad guy I see in the movies. His voice changed as I heard him giving a stern warning on the phone that no mistakes must be made. Immediately he ended the call. He was the calm, smooth guy I used to know. And I told myself, maybe, just maybe, that is how rich people behave. So I didn't bother to ask him about the call. As I bid farewell to Smooth that day, I carried with me a renewed determination to tread this path. Yes, I must make this money. I have always wanted success, money, fame, you name it. But this time, I didn't care. I wanted it by all means, and I told myself whatever it would take me to be on that table with Smooth, not for free drinks, no, but as a partner, I would do it. And yes, we agreed to meet in 2 days' time. As he dropped me off, he gave me small ego. Yes, you know now, Loveling must chop my money today.
Join us next week for another episode of the Consignment Radio Drama. The Consignment Radio Drama was brought to you by Media Coalition and Awareness to Halt Trafficking, MICAT, and funded by the Australia High Commission.
Konsami Radio Drama, today's edition on the program. And I'm wondering what is going on with Chris. This one that Chris is swearing to make money by all means. Well, join us again next week, Saturday, as we unfold what is going on with the young man and, of course, as he narrates his story. The program is Ikonsami Radio Program and Drama. And, of course, on this program, our concern is one and one thing alone, which is human trafficking and child labor. And so we are so glad that you are part of the program. By you listening, it means that it is something that it is worth listening to. And so I will urge you to leave your dials on 102.3. And if you're listening to us online, you can join us on Facebook. We are live on Facebook and YouTube, so you can go there and feel free to drop a comment or two. I will take all those messages in the course of the program. Today we are focusing on a very, very important part of fighting human trafficking, and we have a guest that will be joining us online to discuss this very topic, and which is the role of religious leaders in combating human trafficking. The role of religious leaders in combating human trafficking. Now, in the course of the program, you might have something to share, and I'll encourage you from what our guest would share. If there are things that you want us to look at, there are communities, there are places where you know there's somebody's child that is going through a whole lot at that place, please, I encourage you to share that information with us. It will go a long way in changing the narrative. And you know, sometimes we might say, but man, no come put my mouth for thing wey no concern me. On top human trafficking, on top child labor, it concern all of us. So as you dey see am, make you talk and let me let you know that your privacy is secured. Nobody will mention your name. Nobody will, trace you or anything. The line that you're sending your information or the information to is a secured line. And thank you to those that have done that. We appreciate you. I tell you, if a child is safe today, if a young person is safe today, we will always appreciate you, and life will appreciate you for doing the right thing. So if you want to reach out to us in the studio, we'll pick your calls much later in the program. But for now, we will get to talk with our guest in the studio, where we'll be talking to him on phone. But if you want to join us online, it will be on 090-8766-8888. Hello, good morning, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, madam.
Thank you for joining us. And to our listener, we're talking with Malam Danjuma Abdullahi. He is the Executive Director of Ummah Support Initiative, USI, at the National Mosque here in Abuja. And so, sir, looking at the role of religious leaders in combating human trafficking, is there any in your faith, is there anything that addresses human trafficking, like in Islam now? Is there anything or any verse in the Holy Quran that tackles human trafficking?
Thank you very much for calling, and thank you for the work you are doing on human trafficking.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Like you ask, if there are verses in the glorious Quran that talks about human trafficking, and then the role of religious leaders in tackling human trafficking. Of course, yes. As faith people, we believe that we are all created equal before the Almighty Allah, and then we are not supposed to treat any human being in a way that he or she will feel that he's not a he or she doesn't feel he's a human being. So what I'm trying to say is that we are supposed to be our brother's keeper. We're supposed to treat all individuals as equal before our Creator. And then, of course, human trafficking dehumanizes the human person. And if human trafficking dehumanizes human person, then it is unacceptable in our religion. And I'm thinking it should not be acceptable in all religion. All the religions I know in the world preach against human trafficking because it's not something we should condone with in a civilized world. Human trafficking is something that is anti-progress, because we cannot make collective progress if we see other people as subhuman and then engage them in human trafficking to collect money or whatsoever benefit we think we will get from that.
So when we're talking about the issue of religious leaders and the communities, can you share with us some of the roles that religious leaders play in the communities to fight human trafficking?
Thank you very much. Religious leaders are influential people within our community. And one of the things we've been doing is to talk to people that if you are engaged in human trafficking, then of course you are doing something contrary to the religion of Islam. And then people listen to religious leaders because they are influential. Politicians listen to religious leaders. All kinds of people listen to religious leaders, especially if they are Muslims and they go to mosques to pray. So one of the ways is to preach to them and to say, look, there are people who have been taken into some kind of modern slavery, which we call human trafficking. It is not right. And in our work with MICAT, we have developed a manual that religious leaders are supposed to use in carrying out their activities.
Awesome.
Though we have not started full implementation at the community level deeply, but within our spheres of influence, we share this manual. Even though the manuals are not enough, we share the little copies we have. Some of the people are doing photocopy so that they will be able to do the work they are supposed to do as religious leaders. If you know, MICAT is a professional organization that has been championing, supporting small organizations and big organizations in telling them this is the approach in which we can address human trafficking. And in that manual, religious leaders make available relevant verses in the glorious Quran that are supposed to prevent you from carrying out human trafficking. And I think it is good if you can get a copy of the manual so that some of these things can be very clear to you.
That is very beautiful, and we thank you for all the efforts you're putting.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Now we're looking, let's look at, you've talked about the issue where religious leaders would caution those that could get into that kind of act. Now let's look at the victims themselves. Sometimes one of the reasons why people get into that is the lifestyle, they can't take care of themselves and all of that. So how do religious leaders play a role in trying to discourage even victims getting to that point in the first place?
Thank you very much. That manual produced by MICAT also shares some of the prevention approach, that should be carried out in community, and then for people in the community to also be aware when somebody comes to tell you that I'm taking you somewhere else and I'm going to give you some money that is beyond your reach. For example, you should begin to ask questions. Who is this person? What kind of business is he or she doing? Do I have any skill that if I go to abroad that will enable me in some of this kind of money this man is talking about? Because of course, all of this is happening as a result of poverty. And yes, one can be poor, but one should also be circumvent in being rational.
Yeah.
Poverty is not something that's supposed to make you jump into the well or jump into the ocean because somebody promised you if you deep dive into the ocean, you're going to get some money. You need to be very, very careful, ask questions. You might not have the technical or the ability to be a rational thinker. So you get close to your imams, get close to your pastors and ask them, somebody is promising me this kind of amount of money, but it's going to be in Europe and somewhere else, or in Saudi Arabia, or what have you. So your imam will be able to carry out a detailed investigation to know who this person is, what is his or her antecedent. Then he will be able to get back to you and say, from my interaction with this person, this person is not realistic or is realistic and all of that. I think there are so many ways the imams can help in ensuring that human trafficking is reduced. And it is important they carry out sensitization, which, like I said, we are already doing, but it's not deep down into the community. The whole kind of engagement we are planning with MICAT, I'm sure by the time it becomes fruitful, the whole of the communities will be able to know what is happening and how to prevent their children and youths in the community from embarking on a journey that they are not too sure of.
Now let's look at how our religious leaders can, or maybe they've been doing it before now, sensitizing the general public on reporting cases. Like, do you sometimes have, as religious leaders, those times with people, maybe after the prayers and all of that, sensitizing people on what they need to do?
Yes. The National Agency for the Protection of Human Persons, I know they used to come to the national mosques and then say, okay, today is a day of anti-human trafficking, and then ask the imam to make announcement, and so that people will be aware. And if there are people who are being trafficked and they are back into the country, this is places they can go. Yes, that is happening at the national mosques, and I think it should be amplified to other community mosques so that people can be aware that, okay, this is what is happening, and they should be careful so that they don't get into the wrong hand.
That's right. And so because you have a meeting, so I don't want to drag the interview for too long, because I know that your attention is divided. Forgive us, but then we'll wrap up in a few seconds. Now let's look at survivors, those that have survived and they're back home.
Yes.
What kind of... Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so the victims can be provided with support, technical skills. You know, they can be provided with psychological support. That, okay, yes, you've been trafficked, and then you've gone into all kinds of dehumanization. But now you are back. As religious leaders, it is our responsibility to take care of the weak among us. These people are victims; they are weak. They have been dehumanized.
That's right.
So we could set up skills acquisition, or we could refer them to a place where they can get skills acquisition, and then come back and then empower them to start one or two businesses so that they can begin to fend for themselves. And then we could use these victims also as champions so that they could share experience in programs that we organize severally in our institutions or organizations. That, look, I have been trafficked and I came back, and this is what I'm presently doing. And these are the kind of ways trafficker comes into our communities and take people away. Be careful. So they could be championed and then reintegrated back into our society.
That's
so
right.
Religious leaders have a very powerful influence to do that, because people listen to them and they could raise money to set up all kinds of position center and take care of the victims so that they can become useful citizens in the community.
All right, so before I let you go, what message of hope do you have for the Ummah? What should we take home coming from you as Malam Danjuma Abdullahi?
Okay, I think the message is that we do all kinds of activities in our various organizations. So it is time we kind of adopt a strategy to begin to mainstream human trafficking in our work plans. Get MICAT to produce more manuals so that a lot of religious leaders, pastors, can get hold of this manual so that they can begin to do their work. So human trafficking should be part of what we should be talking about in our organization. If you are a Malam, you teach in a school, talk about human trafficking. If you run an organization that you have 1, 2, 3, up to 100 people, talk about human trafficking so that people will begin to be sensitized right from their young age until their adulthood, so that when they are 22 or 18 or 16 and somebody is talking to them about going abroad, they know exactly what that person is talking about.
That's right.
And we could do a whole lot of work towards that regards by talking about it in naming ceremonies, weddings, because, I mean, it's a global challenge and it's a high network activity that involves billions billions of dollars. And then people are not ready to give up on this trade. But we as the people must be able to, organize ourselves and challenge these bad elements in our society.
Right.
I'm able to speak about human trafficking because MICAF has built my capacity, and today I'm talking about human trafficking. Not many people are capable of talking about human trafficking. They just see it as something that is not within their reach or something that is not happening. But I can tell you it is happening even right here in Nigeria. And then we need to talk about it.
We need to talk about it. And thank you so much for talking about it, Malam Danjuma Abdullahi. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for calling. Thank you for the good work we are doing.
And thank you for what Ummah Support Initiative is doing as well. We wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Ma, for calling.
All right. Have a good day.
And you too, Ma.
Yeah. All right, so we've been talking with Malam Danjuma Abdullahi. He's Executive Director of Ummah Support Initiative at the National Mosque in Abuja, and a whole lot there to take home. And if you're listening to us, what are some of those ways that you feel religious leaders can come in? Let's get to hear from you as well. You are an imam, you're listening right now. You are a pastor, you're listening right now. Let's get to hear from you. And also from the whole program, there's been a lot that's been discussed, and part of what we are so concerned about as MICAD, as Eagles FM, as the people who are concerned about what's happening is child labor is one of those ways that, people have been caged into doing all sorts of things. There are particular hotels that you might know that we are not aware of. There are particular people in your communities who are abusing little girls and boys out there. Can we speak about it? And like Malam Danjuma said, this is an organized crime. And so we as a people, we should be more organized than a few out of us that have decided to make an eel of our society. If you want to contribute on the program today, you can reach us on 090-8766-8888. That is 090-8766-8888. Are there other roles that you feel the religious leaders need to play in fighting child labor and, of course, human trafficking? And if you are a victim or you are going through something right now and you need to share with us, I'll give you the line, but let me pick this call. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, my sister. My name is Pastor Ebe.
Sorry, I missed your name, sir.
My name is Pastor Ebe. I'm calling from Asokoro.
Okay, Pastor Ruben from Asokoro. Go ahead.
Yes. My contribution is that the failures of the government is the cause of all these things that the country is leading. Both the human trafficking, child labor, and everything that we are seeing is the failures of the government. Let me first say to you, go to a civilized society. If a little child could not go to school and the parents did not report the accurate reason why that child did not go to school, they will arrest the parents and charge them to court. Where are they in Nigeria? Nothing. Then move to the street of Nigeria, especially FCT. You see a little child carry granite on his head. What are those girls? What are the agencies that are responsible for child labor are doing? Arrest these children to show them where are your parents. Nothing. You understand me? All these things contribute to the human trafficking because the government close their eyes for the responsibilities of the government and they are chasing shadows, money, fighting themselves in the House of Assembly, National Assembly, and every aspect, corruption.
But as a person, is there any role you can play in fighting human trafficking, sir?
Yeah. What I'm trying to say in essence is that the child labor, government have an agency that's supposed to take care of it. They are not working. Let's call the space. You understand me? They are not working. That is number one. Is the failures of the government. Two, the solution to all this is one. If government will be sincere enough to themselves and come back to their right senses that we have derailed from the line and come back to their right senses. Number one, government need to revise some certain rules that they are following that is not profitable to the citizens of this country.
Okay.
Do you understand?
So
This
can
is
you wrap up in the 60 seconds? Go ahead.
Are you hearing me?
Can you wrap up in 60 seconds? Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Two, government need to take decisive action whatsoever that violated the rules of both Child Act and child labor, so that others can learn from it. But if they close their eyes when you know somebody in the government, somebody knows somebody in the government, you are scot-free. Then someone also can have the illegal right to begin to commit all manners of atrocity because they have this connection to government
Thank you
and
so
such.
much,
Okay.
Pastor
Go
Ruben.
ahead. Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you too. And thank you for taking our time. We don't take it for granted for you to call and lend your voice. And we always, as the name of the program is, it concerns me. It means it concerns everybody. 090-8766-8888. That is 090-8766-8888. Are there roles that religious leaders can play? And what can you say about human trafficking? Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, your radio is interfering, so if you can move away from your radio. Who am I speaking with?
Hello.
Who am
Good
I speaking?
morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, man.
Yes.
We are speaking to Mr. Vincent.
Okay, Mr. Vincent.
Yeah, from Masaka.
Mr. Vincent from Masaka, go ahead.
Yes. I want to support the last speaker in one way because of the government. They have all the resources. What I want to support him is that now we are talking about population census. They are spending a lot of money to count people for the census. They have budgeted it, they will carry it out. I want to say that no matter the census are making, even if you are doing every 2 years, without appropriate legislation to back it up, it's not going to work. I remember one time that a member of, I think, National Assembly, he was proud to say that he has about 30-something children. He has about 30-something children. And some people will say, so far you can take care of them. Why so far where is the resources that is going to use to take care? Is it not from this country? Sometimes, most of the time, we imitate what is wrong. How did India, how did China, how did they start? In India today, whether what you have two, whether two boys or two girls, that is the end, that is all. If the government can come up with a legislation, the maximum you can go to get is maximum 3 or 2.
So
I know doing
policy.
Yes.
Okay.
So if I remember that time, that's why it was what they call it, military regime, they say it's bad, which is even better than what we are seeing now. Well, Babangida said no more than 4. It was not implemented. People just go and give birth anyhow. Some people they don't even go to hospital to give birth, and they are room in their backyard and so they do that.
Okay.
No registration, you don't even know what is going on. If there's a law to back it, that a family, one woman to two children, we know where we are going to.
Okay, so I have to let you go because of our time, but I think you made a very powerful, vital point there. Thank you so much, Mr. Vincent. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your call. The issue of government policy, number of children that should be birthed. Now, somebody is listening right now, and you know that there's a concern and you feel should be checked. A hotel needs to be checked. A particular home without a signboard somewhere needs to be checked. Please, if you speak up, something can be done about it. If you keep quiet, someday it will concern you. So I beg you, this is the time for us to speak up. You don't see house where children gather. You don't understand what's in the apple for there. You see they gather children picking. The children no feed eat. Well, then they beat them, then they give them plenty work, and you don't understand what's in the apple. It go good, more go check, see what's in there. If nothing the apple, we go say, thank God, there nothing the apple. For say we go can't keep quiet, the thing go come bad as he bad reach. What do you think? You can send a message to this number 090 3359 1611. That is 090 3359 1611. That is the number to reach out. And we thank all that have those that have been reaching out and telling us to go check a particular house and a particular children somewhere. It is all for the betterment of this country. We want to sincerely appreciate Media Coalition to Halt Human Trafficking, MICAT, for bringing this program on this platform. Next week, Saturday, is another time. We'll start with the radio drama. And what happens to Chris? You need to join us. And after that, we'll have another change maker on the platform to discuss human trafficking. My name is Dell.